The recording has started. Yeah, so you can go ahead. You're muted.
So I can start, right?
Yes, you can start.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I believe we all can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
I would have actually loved that the guys that actually need this, either one or two, should join. So that
People, I'm one of the people that need this session. I'm in need of this session, so I'm one of them. But I believe that as we go on, people would join, but we don't want to also. We are looking at time. That's why we have the recording available on YouTube. People can go by it.
okay, okay. So Afolabi will soon be joining. That's the next.
Okay.
She has to be here. So, okay.
Okay, are you waiting for someone, Kelvin?
Yes, yes. Well, I don't know if the person will be active, but let me just begin. Let me just begin.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. So, once again, I'll just introduce myself. My name is um, Omoh Kelvin. People know me more as Kelvin. Yeah, I was the former Director General of Inventos Community at Bells University of Technology. So it's a great privilege to be here. Akintayo Tolani. I know that this is one of the amazing times I will have, having a session with you. And personally, I would say I don't take it for granted. Well, because I know how this is going to really help a lot of people because it's very, very important. I will start on this note. Some days ago, I was having a conversation with a friend, and he happens to still be in university. And I asked him a question: is it possible that a person goes through these three stages, which is emotional, academic, and financial struggle. And he told me something. He said, most of the scenarios in the university, most people have three issues at the same time. I was like, why? Can't a person not pick one at least out of the three? And I believe you can bear with me in learning, right? I think for me, I would say it was almost like that, but God held me through. So a person can actually struggle in those three areas: in your emotional well-being, your academic, and your financial, and you just need to look for a way to balance things and start your journey. Because if you're not too careful, it can be a journey that can be constant. Do you get? And you just have to know where to stand. So first of all, we'll start with my journey as a student. So before getting to university, one of the contents I have here is what the beyond the 183. Beyond the 183 there means simply means I got a jam score of 183 before I came into school, and I was asking myself, can I still get into the university with this score? Like 103. Like I was not thinking of going to the university, though my twin brother skilled me. He was having about a jam score of about 250 or so, 230, and I was the lowest in my class. And I was disgraced. I lacked motivation to continue. I was still thinking university is not sure for me, so I should just remove my mind off it. There's no way I could still continue. But along the journey, I took courage, trusting God, still for admission, But like my lesson teacher then told me, he said, I should not limit God. There's nothing God cannot do. So by the mercy of God, I got into school with this jam score, studying computer science together with my twin brother. So we started together. That was my first journey in 2020, starting computer science. And yeah, starting my career from there, I told myself that I'm not going to fail again. I'm going to keep going. I must I must read better than and read like I've never read, so I can get the results I've never gotten. That was just all that was on my mind. And every day going to the library, I just always read all the time. And people would just be like, "Ah, who is this professor reading?" That time, I think that was my first time meeting you, Tolani. You just passed me like, mathematician. I think that's what you call me, mathematician. This guy is just is always
Yeah.
mathematician. And this guy never knew the reason why I'm studying. You can't understand. If I tell you my past, if I tell you where I'm going from, you can't understand. So I would say problems are not generic. That's why. So at that period of time, I was reading like my life actually depends on it because I don't want to fail anymore. But along the journey, I still failed. There's this biology exams I was writing that time, and I failed. And I was asking myself, can I still have an A in this course? And my friend Tolani Kingsley Timothy walked up to me and told me that there's still possibility and of passing or still coming out with first class this semester. But still try my best. I failed that particular test. It was a test, not even the exam. I failed that test, and by the mercy of God, I prayed to God, and God gave me these particular scriptures. I know this is not a Bible stuff, but I would love to share it because it was one of these key success points that helped me in my journey in the university. It is John chapter 15, verse 7. Though I did not put it here, but John 15, verse 7 says, He said, if your word dwell in me, you will ask whatever you want, and it shall be given unto you. As simple as that is, I took it upon myself. The Bible is saying, if the word of God dwell in me, I will ask. That's just a plus setup for me. So I just need to ask God, God, what can I do to pass this exam? Your word say I should read the Bible. The Bible is saying I should read, I should read, I should read. I should read this scripture. So are you telling me if I should read this Bible, I will pass my exam? Ha. Yeah, now let's see. And I took it as a trial. I was reading the Bible at the same time going to the library to always study. And along the journey, my performance became better. But I must tell you the truth, looking back at where I came from, my first grade in university was a second class upper. I give God the glory. I think my first that was a 3.78. I got that was my first result in the university. I was like, ha, my first semester, whatever. That's the only semester's grade point I can still remember. But when I remember where I'm coming from and how far God has helped me to this point, I saw that there's really nothing impossible. And God saw me through. To be on a seven class upper, it was by the mercy of God. Yeah. Because as a dull student, as a person that was the first from the back of the class, I know what I was saying. So having a seven class upper was just by the mercy of God. And I still remember before leaving school, the proprietress or the proprietor, the chairman of that secondary school I was in, met me. I was like, "Ah, you're a stupid boy. Why would you still be playing after your grade point? There's no kind of insult it did not give me." Huh. And the report they sent to my father before I left the secondary school was that I am unteachable. There is no amount of teaching you teach me that I will ever know anything. But I must tell you the truth. A person that will go 293 in JAM entered the university, and my first grade point was a 3.87. I think, yeah, 3.87. And that was the second class upper. And that was my very first grade. And I was still determined that I'm still going to get to a first class, and there is nothing impossible. And that was how my journey began in the university. I want you guys to know something that you have to dream big and act bold. I was privileged to meet some amazing friends in the university. I met likes of Akeju Nifemi, I met likes of Jamila Massa, met likes of Enaikile Odion, Tolani Akintayo, great guys in the university, Simi Adelowo. I can't count. But I must tell you the truth, these are guys that actually helped me in my journey in becoming a better person. And I learned something recently that if you want to go far, work with people. If you want to go fast, work alone. In the journey in university, what made me go far, because many people know I hear Mr. Kelvin, Mr. Kelvin, Mr. Kelvin is doing great stuff, he's doing stuff outside university, he's doing stuff and all that. I must tell you, it all came as a result of working with people. I don't undermine that particular perception. Yeah, so it's very, very important that you work with people in your journey to greatness. You cannot do it alone. And I must tell each and every one of you on the call, you must dream big. And what's my dream before leaving the university was that I'm going to come out with the first class and at the same time have a great job before I leave the university. Beyond that, 100 level was my very first interview I got as a that was when I started my journey into the software engineering. I made sure that I was determined. I was telling myself that this year on the level I will learn the whole of front end and back end. Then immediately I'm done, I start applying for interviews and all that. So on the level I finished myself. And on the level, that's on the level after learning a lot. I got my very first interview in a company in Russia. And I must tell you the truth, I failed that interview. Currently, I'm in two meetings at the moment, but I will say I'm here with you people. The second meeting I'm on is I would just love to show you. I'm not active, but I'm just there. This person I'm supposed to be on the call with in this meeting was one of the people that also helped me in my journey in career and all that. But I must tell you something. Along the way, after my failure, my very first interview, I told myself that I needed a mentor because I can't fail. Like, why should I fail? I don't really know how this software engineering space is. So how can I move? That's why a mentor is needed. A mentor is needed. Something I learned in the journey is that the fastest way to learn something is to know someone that knows it and learn from that person. I have, by the mercy of God, I'm privileged to have a lot of mentors. But this my very first mentor was Akanowo. Is one of the great person, great individuals I've ever met in my life. I must tell you the truth. He was in his final years. He never had much time to be with me. But at the same time, I'm grateful I found my very first mentor in 100 level. He gave me resources. At least the little time I was able to spend with him, I was able to meet and learn a lot from him on how to progress in my journey. I must tell you something that after learning from him and all that, I plan to get into another interview, and yeah, that was the second interview I got in my life, and I passed it. That was in the interview with what is that first company I worked with? Um, I'm trying to remember. Sorry, please. I work with a lot of companies. Probably my brothers can please remind me. I've forgotten. Okay, the very first company I worked with, that was more of like an
Um,
internship. You're saying something?
I'm, I'm, I'm even trying to remember also. I've forgotten.
Probably Kingsley.
Probably, if they can remind us.
I'm trying to remember. Probably if it comes to my mind, I will let you know. I got my very first interview in that other company, and I passed. Why? Because my mentor was able to share stuff with me on how to pass an interview, and then I started moving in my career. Uh, okay, I started moving my career and all that, so things became much better. Hmm. I saw that certificate recently, and that was when I got my very first certificate of internship at my 100 level moving to 200 level, and I was so happy. I was so happy. But I must tell you something in journey of life. I would love to share one scripture with you, which is sorry, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a preacher, but I must say something to you that in my journey in the university, I got to figure out a particular scripture, which is Joshua 1 verse 8. Everybody knows the scriptures, right? Everybody knows it, which is it's a very, very popular scripture that the book of law shall not depart out of the mouth, but thou shalt meditate on it day and night, and all that and all that. I believe you all know the scripture, right? Can I say a thumbs up, a reaction or something? You all are Christians, I believe. Okay, good, 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 good. So everyone knows that scripture, but you don't read it to the very end. The very end of that scripture says something that but thou shalt make thy way right. Thou shalt meditate on it day and night, and then thou shalt make your way right and prosperous. So I got to figure out that it is me that needs to make my way right. It is me that needs to be prosperous. It is only me. It's one thing to pray, and it's another thing to leave it in the hand of God. But that same scripture talked about it is you that will make your way prosperous. Let me get to the scriptures. Joshua 1 verse 8. Probably let me quickly read. Sorry.
Yeah, just one thing before you continue.
Okay.
Uh, that first company I just searched now on your LinkedIn is Radical X.
Oh, thank you so much. That was the very first company I worked with. Yeah. Thank you so much, Tolani. Yeah, 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 yeah. So that was the first company I worked with, and I must tell you the truth, that was my very first time leading a team. Yeah, as a leader, yeah, leading a team. Many people joined, and everybody were tired. Everybody don't know what to do. They told us to learn a particular tech stack, and it was everything was just confusing. I didn't even know where to start. But guess what? I just started. Just started. I don't want to think too much. I just started. I failed. I was not like to. The very first project they gave me, I failed in it. But I kept trying. I kept trying. I kept trying. But don't let me lose my thought process, which is Joshua 1 verse 8. It said, I'm on the scriptures now. It says, um, okay. Be sure that the book of law is always read. Okay, let me use another translation. Please, I'm coming. I think TPT should have my scriptures. Okay, good. Uh, okay, sorry guys, I'm coming. Let me see. I'm coming, guys. I'm coming. I want to read it verbatim, verbatim. If I search the scriptures, I will find it. Okay, let me just search Google. Probably I'll find it just there. Okay, in order not to waste our time, Joshua 1 verse 8 just simply means, this book of law shall not depart out of the mouth, but thou shalt meditate on it day and night, then you shall make your way prosperous. Okay, good. And have a good sources. Okay, I'm there. The book of law shall not depart out of the mouth, but then thou shalt meditate on it day and night. and thou shalt observe to do according to all that is written in it. For then thou shalt make your way prosperous, and then you have good success. That scripture simply means that it is you that will determine the good sources and the prosperity that you have. So it's one thing to read the Bible, it's one thing to meditate on it, but at the same time, it is you that will determine if you are going to be prosperous and successful. There is always a part for us to play. And then I took my journey in my career very serious, more than my academics. I must not lie to you. Um, because at the same time, they call me prof. I was reading and I was reading a lot in university. I got to find out that most of the things I was reading, they were not applicable in life. So I just needed to have a backup. What would be my life after school? Like I started thinking from 200 level, what would be my life after school? My very first place I worked, that was in UK. That was Radical X. Um, I was not paid. It was not a paid internship. But that was the very first place I worked. And then I got to meet a lot of people. I got to meet, yeah, a lot of people. I got to recommendations, and that was my very first time, doing stuff like that. But I must not lie to you, I kept going. It was not easy to balance it with academics, but that was just the time of break. So that's why I was opportunity to get that job or that internship as at that time. But I got a lot of experience. That was when I got my first internship. So I moved on to my 200 levels. I got another job in, what was his name? Which country is this? Republic of Benin, for a particular university. They said I should work on their um, results management system, and I did that for them. That was my very third job, and it moved on. As I was going in my life, I can't count how many jobs I've done, or freelance gigs and all that. I can't count, but I've done a lot. I've done a lot. I just want to share something that effort made is not equal to result attained. Life does not actually reward you based on like the quality of your efforts, but actually the quality of your result. The reason why I said this is a lot of people ask me a question how I was able to balance my life in school with my academics. But like I told you previously that I'm the one that determine if I will be successful or not. Many times, many people read, right? But are they seeing the results of what they have read? See, in life, I mean, in the outside world, people don't even look at your effort; they look at your results. What do you have to show? And that is what everyone must know. Your result is only dependent on the quality of knowledge that you have. Like I said, yeah, quality of your effort is proportional to what the quality of the knowledge that you put in. The quality of what of your efforts is what is determined by the quality of the knowledge that you have. So most times I began to understand that the only way to excel past my journey in academics, more than academics, is to read. So let's say they give me an handout, a textbook, or probably a note. I read my notes. After reading my notes that the lecturer gives me, I go in depth to make extra research, and I don't just dwell on my notes. Trust me, I was pursuing my career. In pursuing my career, I got to figure out that for me to be excellent in whatever I'm doing, I must know it. Like, I came to school to study computer science, and I'm studying and I'm practicing software engineering as a career I chose for myself. I'm gonna let you know something. Being in school does not mean like what you came to school to study. To me, is not a career. It only becomes a career only when it is applicable and when you have done something with it. What you are doing in school is still study. Nobody has started career. If you cannot apply what you have learned, it's not yet a career. You only came to still do secondary school to me. I'm not whining you. If you cannot practice what you have read, what you have learned, it's not yet a career. You are still doing studying. It's not study. You are not studying anything. You are still in secondary school to me. Do you get? So you have to apply what you have learned. And that is why I needed to read and understand more because it was a career I chose. I chose it because it was not so easy. Yeah, it was not so easy combining my career with my education, that is computer science. But I must tell you the truth, computer science and software engineering almost go hand in hand, but majorly hand in hand. Most of the things or they teach you in class, you can see the real world implementation of whatever you're taught in software engineering. So I practiced it. So everything began to make sense to me because passing exams even became very simple because I'm applying what I'm taught. So if you ask me a question, even if I've not read, the application of what I know of can justify my scores in the exams. So most times they bring a what's the name a exam sheet to me. I must tell you the truth. I might have not even read that topic. I might not even know as much as many people know. But because I have an application or an applied knowledge of what I am being taught in school, it gave me an easier way to pass exam. That is the truth. And that's why reading to me became much better. And because I cannot just read, for instance, most of our exams question was just writing codes. Sometimes I think in 300 level was writing codes. So it's my field, software engineering. I did write code every day. So it was just part of me. So that's why I was able to pass most of the exams and still scale well. But see, I must let you know that I was still in seventh class upper. I was struggling to get into first class. I got my very first class in when I was in 400 level. Yeah, 400 level. 400 level first semester, second semester, 500 level, and 500 level second semester. That was the only years I got first class. But I must tell you something. Both were my 100 level and 200 level for. They were my foundation of taking action. I tell you people that when I started my journey in my career, I started like a novice, like I don't know anything. But things became more clearer because I got to find a mentor that is already in my field and I learned from that person. I told you in 200 level, I think 100 level going to 200 level, I got my very first job. And yeah, and I also got a very good position in church, a leadership position. Trust me, my very first job in Radical X was a leadership position. I was leading a team. That was when my leadership began. Then in church, I was promoted to what the assistant general secretary in church. And also still in 200 level, I wish I have pictures to put, but I did not put it. That is, I won my very first hackathon. You can check my LinkedIn, you see all that there. I got my very first, I won my very first hackathon. A lot of and a lot of students all over Ogun State, all the universities in Ogun State, both polytechnic universities and technical schools, School of Technology came to Bells University to do an hackathon. They call it NACOS, whatever, one NACOS seminar like that. So it was more of like an hackathon. So that was my very first time I won my very first hackathon. I took top place in the aspect of software development, and I took first place in the aspect of presentation. So I got to find out that I'm good in presentation, but I'm not so good in in software development. So there's a level I just need to keep or get to, and I just kept working on myself. But trust me, for me to get top place in that hackathon, more than 20 universities came to Bells University that year. I think that was 2022. Came to Bells University, but that's how I got my very first, won my very first hackathon. The school was proud of us. In fact, this is something I've never done in my life. But trust me, I took a step. I took a step forward because I needed to see my skill active even in the area of competition, in the area of software development, in competitions and hackathons. And by the mercy of God, I was able to take top place and first place. Though this session, I might not be able to highlight all of my achievements and wins. I don't think that is why we're here, but it's for us to learn. I must tell you the truth. There's something called delayed gratification. Every time there was party, in my school, before I got myself a very first MacBook Apple laptop, I was using one laptop before, which was half screen. My friends knew. I was coding with half of my screen. Imagine, no, you just think of it. Half of the screen is blank, half of the remaining is working. My keyboard, if I want to turn on my laptop, I will remove my keyboard to turn it on. To tell you how bad the situation was for me. I suffered actually. It was not an easy journey. Financially, I was not stable yet, but I was still trusting God with a new laptop. And all of a sudden, I was able to work. My parents was able to assist me because they saw that wow, this child is not just putting effort in just school alone, but also his career. Like they were able to see career in my life, and they were able to get me a new laptop. I was happy, and I was just happy, and that's how I got my very first laptop, my very first Apple laptop in my 200 levels. Yeah, my 200 levels, and I started moving. But ever since I got my laptop, I started moving like as if there was no tomorrow. I'm gonna let you know something that the elderly people will say, to whom much is given, much is also expected. Man, I told myself, if they can give me Apple laptop, that was about, how much did they buy for me? I think that was about 1.2 or 1.3 million naira that year. They bought for me. It was a brand new laptop. I opened it, I saw it, and I told myself, with this laptop, I'll be using it to make millions for myself while I was in university. I do know how, but I just kept pursuing my journey, and keep applying to jobs, learning, and know that I'm not just in school to only read my book. Trust me, it's not only to read book and pass exam, no, but also to journey in my life in academics. But I must tell you something. When I was in 100 level, before my mentor left me to the outside world, he told me something. He said, before you leave school, a job is waiting for you. I was thinking, wow, this guy has plans for me to, to put me in this tech sector because my mentor was also working while he was in university. So I was able to learn from him too that I can work while I'm in university. And I saw it in him and I was able to replicate it. And I tried. It was not easy, but I just kept going because I know that that's the only life that is actually meaningful while you're in university. It's good to pass your exam, read, and all that, but what is more rewarding is to see what you have learned actually applicable. And that is just what I want everyone to know. So, before I move on, okay, I'm gonna let you know something. In my university, particularly my set, my class, I was not the smartest. No, I was not the smartest, but I was the most determined in the room. All of my friends that I always look up to. That guys, this guy they jack, they do this, they do that. Like all of them, I was looking up to them. But when I became serious in my career, like I said, everybody began to look at me that I was the top of the class. But trust me, in terms of academic performance, I was not then chasing the first class anymore. First class had left my head. All I was chasing was my life after school and having a very good job to sustain me as a student because at some point I was thinking of not relying on my parents for stuffs anymore. But then a lot of people were now looking up to me. A lot of people that I was looking at, they were smarter than me and all that. Everybody were now looking up to me. It is not because I'm smart, no. It's because why? I am the most determined. Determination is very, very important. A lot of people started saying that this guy is doing stuff, this guy is doing stuff, this guy is doing stuff. When I became so determined and focused on what I was doing, a lot of people started copying me, asking questions on, guy, how do you start? What did you do? And yes, fortunately, in my 300 level was when I started my very first, I will call it mentorship session. In my 300 level, I was privileged to start mentoring guys in 500 level already. Like most of them had their final year project. I was in final year projects when I was in 300 level. In 300 level, I was winning a lot of competitions because the school would call me to go for this one, to go for that one, to go for this and all that. I was privileged to be in that university, that's the girls' university, because I just have to put myself outside and let the school recognize that what I am an asset and a valuable resource to the university. And that's why the university always make use of me for every competition. Because why I put myself out there, I let my lecturers know that I'm capable of doing this and I can do this, I can do that. Do you get? Responsibilities, I must tell you the truth, is what makes a man. As a student, what make you an high performing student more than your studying in the university? Like I said, there's a difference between career and study. Most of the people reading for exams and passing exams, they are just studying. They've not started their career. Career only starts when what you have learned is applicable. That is my own philosophy. Do you get? But I must tell you the truth that in 300 level, I started mentoring a lot of people. I started making money in 300 level. A lot of finance students in 500 level will pay me, at the end of the session, I wait behind to go and be doing financial projects for a lot of financial students. I'll do like 4 or 5 projects, make a lot of money. I'll charge each of them. And I'll be charging them like crazy amount, and they have nothing to say than to pay, because they must pass. And I think it was a 6 unit course for them, so they must pass it. So hence, whatever I tell them, you have to pay so money for this. Even though I know that it was an easy something I can do in less than 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I will tell them a month, I will deliver your project for you. And I did like 4, 5 projects at the same time. Trust me, it was very, very tiring, most difficult process I've ever been in. I started in projects, most of these projects I started for them. I've never in my life done it before. But there's something I learned from one of my other mentors, that is Tony K, which is said, bring am, we go learn am, we go do am. Simply means even though he doesn't have idea of how to do it, if he say bring it like that, I will do it. Along the journey, he will figure out how to get it done. And that was how I started making money in university. Aside my job I was having, I also make money from students that needed to build their final year project and all that. Okay. So like I shared with you guys, find mentors is very, very important. So I must tell you the truth. Still in my 300 levels, going to 400 level, I participated in one hackathon, another hackathon again. The school didn't carry me. I just saw it online. They just public post and all that, and I applied. And I won the hackathon. Trust me, it was not easy. I won this hackathon. I was still a leader in that team. I won that hackathon because I made sure that I want to put myself out there. I want to be the most active contributor. I want to win this hackathon. I was determined. That hackathon held in Osutech. I don't know if you know that university, Osutech. And I just saw it randomly and I participated and I won the hackathon. And they were looking for the person that won. They said the person is not from that school. They have to look for me, search. They did not find me. Until one day I received a call from a friend in Microsoft. He said, good day, sir. Am I on to Mr. Kelvin in Ikele? This. And he said he has something for me. And he brought the role of inventors community to me. And he said, because you have passed or you won our challenge, you want me to start a community in Bells University. But before I started that community, I was also active in another community called GDSC. GDSC simply means Google Development Student Club. I was in that community to grow. So where GDSC is more of like a community where we learn. They talk about software engineering, AI, machine learning, data science, and all that. All those career paths. I was in that community to learn also. But as a student in that community, somebody is now bringing another community to me. I should come and teach and spearhead this community in Bells University. I said, I've never done this in my life. I'll bring her. I will sit down and do it. And that was where I became the first community director general of Inventors Community in Bells University. I started also having a lot of jobs. I think in 400 level, yeah, I was privileged to get my very first international offer, like a very high paying job. And yeah, that was my very first high paying job I think in Europe or so, where I was paid, I won't mention salary, yeah, but I was paid high. And that same 400 level, I was also doing my internship, like the school's so-called internship for school. But trust me, during those process of internship, I was already working. So I was not actually following the school curriculum. Like I shared with you previously, Joshua 1 verse 8, it is you that determines your sources, right? So remember, I was not actually following the school curriculum in anything I was doing. They were not telling me to learn software engineering in school. They were not telling me to do this, build app, to build this website. No. All I was interested was in making myself a better person every day. I must not wait for anyone. I'm not waiting for the university. I'm not waiting for anyone to tell me what to do. I just have to take a step forward. So when it was in my 400 levels, I was privileged to be in Yata where I worked. And that same time, I applied to another job. I got another international offer. I was planning to live in Yata. I don't know how to mingle the two. And that's how I got my very first high paying job. And I thank God. And I moved on in my career and all that. So back to 500 levels, I know you guys will have a lot of questions for me, but please just bear with me, please. My 500 level, that was when I I started as a community lead for inventors community, and I was teaching a lot of people. But trust me, I'm not gonna lie to you. My 500 level was not at all easy. It was the most stressful journey of my life. But I told myself, other universities, the course I studied in Bells University was 5 years. In other universities, it is 4 years. I told myself in 300 level that there's no point of me being in university anymore because what I came to school for, I think I've learned it. I'm already doing final year projects in 300 level. So what are they teaching me in 400 and 500 level? That was what was in my mind. And now my friend, we were just conversing. I was like, "Ah, this school does not really worth it. We can just pay for Udemy course and get certificate and we are good to go, with or without university degree or whatever." But nevertheless, there was nothing in my mind to drop out. I just kept going and kept developing myself while I was in school. But I must let you know that my 500 level was the time I took the most highest risk of my life because I think the end of a thing is more important than the beginning thereof. So how I was able to merge I was having two jobs in school. It was crazy. My 500 level. I worked for Pudi. I also worked for Rescue Out Africa. And at the same time, they gave me a position in the church as the general secretary. Uh, and I was still leading a community of over 300, 400 community people. And I was making sure that this community is not by mouth, it is by action, by results. So I needed something to prove that I'm leading this community. So it was a lot. I was in a lot of positions. Apart from that, still in that 500 level, I was promoted to the head of engineering in the place I worked. I was like, wow, ha. It was just crazy that things were just happening so fast for me. And mind you, I spent about 4 years actively working as a software engineer in my year of my career. 4 years. So I know that once I'm leaving university, I'm having 5 years. So a person with 5 years of experience is no more a junior, he's already a senior to me. Then I assumed a senior role, and then I got promoted at work as the head of engineering. And for that's the highest peak of my career. I know that God has really helped me for. I never thought it could happen, but I still led a community called Inventors, where we won a lot of awards, won a lot of competitions. I told myself this thing that there's no competition I go for in 500 level. If you see me, you run away. It was just as brutal as that. That if you are pitching or if you are going to be the software development, trust me, ever since my very first hackathon, I told you I won third position, right? When I was in 500 level and a lot of things, leadership responsibilities were on me. I was able to create a team with brilliant minds of people where we sat down to build innovations and build stuff that change the world and also change ourselves. Do you get it? And we're actually winning a lot of money and awards and competitions and all that. I was happy for that progress. But that progress only happened by determination. Mind you, I was my 500 level. My 500 level is at risk because I was in my final year project. I was doing I was in my final years, so I must not slack. I must not slack. But trust me, maybe we're acting like, guy, the way you just dey move, e be like say you no even get project. And trust me, For those of you that are still in university, I finished my own final year project. My brothers here are my witness, Kingsley and Tolani. I finished my final year project, I think in October or November last year. Like, so I know that if I'm to enter a new year, I'm entering a new year with the mindset of what is my life after school. Anything final year projects, I'm done. I don't want to have anything to think of, do you get, of school and anything. So I was just focusing on my life after school, after the new year. So final year, I'm done with it. In my mind, I was actually done with it. So January to July is my life after school. What will I do when I'm done with university? And then I started two companies. By God's grace, I started a company called Ricardian Corp, and my other company is G Quant. So those are the two companies I currently own after leaving university. But I must let you know something that while I left the university in my final years, or while I was preparing to leave the university, still in that January to July period, I was going for seminars because I know that my life after school is my life. I'm the one that is determining if I will be successful or not. And I was privileged to meet a lot of billionaires. I went out for conferences. I met a lot of billionaires. This is one of the billionaires I took pictures with. I didn't really add pictures here. I have pictures, but I don't because of the limited time I have to prepare this. I did not really add a lot of stuffs here. But I was privileged to be in a room where I met a lot of billionaires every conferences I go for because I was planning on my life, like what will be my reality after school? How can I start? Do you get? So I started moving, building my own company, meeting people of like minds, and I was privileged to see a person of my age already a billionaire. And then I asked myself a lot of questions. What have I been doing for the past 4 years of my life, or 5 years? Trust me, 4 years or 5 years is enough to give birth to a child and grow the child. But I must tell you the truth, man, there's no point of competition. It's all about yourself. You should know where you're going. I met a billionaire of my age in Lagos State in Nigeria. And I was like, how did this guy do this thing? And I told myself that if he was able to do it, I can also do it. There's no barrier. You only give yourself that limitation. You get. But I knew that beyond the four walls of the university is your life. You can graduate and still not have a job. You can graduate. And let me let you know something that as a Nigerian, coming out with first class is not a determinant for your success in life. In fact, it has a slim, to me, the last time I did my statistics, it has a slimmer chance. The fact that you are on a first class or second class upper, your chance of succeeding is probably 40 or 50%. Or in fact 30%. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I'm not here to lie to anyone. So your life is in your hands. The question is, what have you been doing while you are being in university? And are you planning for your life after school or after 5 years? Trust me, 5 years in university is it's not easy. It doesn't beans. So more than just excelling in university is also determining your path in life. So that's why I tell a lot of people, you're not in school to only read. You're also in school to find your path. And if you can't find it in university, you go outside the university to find it. And that's what I did in my final years. When I took a lot of risk, after my final years, going for this conference, going for this one. That's the point of going for conferences, to meet a lot of people. And I came to a conclusion to myself that well, the more hands I shake, the more money I make. And that was not just a philosophy, but it was actually a reality for me. The more hands I actually shaked, the more money came to me because at a long time, at a point in my life, my final years, there is nobody that doesn't know me. So jobs recommendations were just coming to me. They would just say, I know of somebody. His name is Kelvin. He can build solutions. He can build softwares. He can, and they'll be asking for, I need someone that can do this, that can do that. Immediately the first person that comes to their mind is Kevin. And this is the power of putting yourself out there. It's one thing to build yourself in secret. It's another thing to put yourself out there. A lot of people are saying log in, stay logged in, stay logged in, stay logged in. Omo, you can be logged in and nobody will see you. But the truth is, the kind of career path I chose for myself, It's not just only to stay committed to learning alone, but also to put myself out there. So I know I was responsible also for putting myself out there, and that's why you see me on LinkedIn, you see me going out to conferences, telling people what I do. And in the long run, I was not actually looking for any job. You can ask my brothers. At the point in my life, I think 500 level, I stopped applying for any job. I think I got a role recently, like that was last year, before entering the new year. That was 2025. I I got a job on technical writing, and that was another high paying job. I will tell you, I think that was about $6,000 they were paying. I was happy, like just technical writing. I won't tell you the name of the company, anyways. But it was a contract of 2 months, and I was thinking of with this money, I'm going to think of how to make a lot of money for myself and start something for my life, And then that's how my life moved on. I'm trying to say that you have to put yourself out there. It's very, very important. Nobody will know you if you don't put yourself out there. It's more than just development. So, like I'm saying, being in university is is good. Focus on your education, but at the same time, start your career in university. What makes a career is only the application of what you have learned. For those of you studying other courses, good and fine. You can start your internship early enough. You don't need to wait till university declare a time of internship before you can start your internship. No, don't follow the school curriculum. The school curriculum is designed for generalization for everybody to plus or minus. But you know yourself. If you know that you're a fast learner, you're a fast this, you're a fast that, you can go ahead of the class. No one is limiting you. No one is telling you don't do this, don't do that. You are in control of your life. Who you are tomorrow is depending on the decision you take today. So I tell people, just start. Go to rooms where you are needed. And trust me, my final years also, by the mercy of God, I was able to still win the first position in alt prize in the whole of Nigeria. And I was privileged. They sent a message directly from the White House to us saying, congratulating us for, because that's the biggest achievement of my life, winning that national recognition of alt prize. And at the same time, we broke another record. In fact, I was in my set, or I leading the university forward. I was the one that actually, by the mercy of God, broke a lot of barriers. What my mentors couldn't achieve in years, I was able to achieve it in period of time, like 2 3 months or 4 months, working with smart people. Like I told you, like in life, to move forward, the fastest way to learn is to know people that knows it and learn from them. And if you want to go far, work with people. If you want to go fast, go alone. In my entire journey, you can't see me working alone. You always see me working with people at every phase, at every phase, at every phase. And it's very, very important. And that's one of the, I will tell you the criteria to having success also, more than just being in university. So there is a lot of stuff I would still love to share, but this is a picture of me and my mentees winning one competition. I think this on duel, yeah, on duel competition and all that for the whole of Duel Africa, I think. So that was just that. Okay. So I started my mentorship. Like you see here, in 300 level, I've mentored over 400 plus students and still counting. I'm still currently in mentorship with not just only people in the university, but also outside the university. So, one of the final thing I would say is that you don't need to be great to start. You have to start to be great. For everyone that needs to hear, you don't need to be great to start. You have to what? You have to start to be great. I know many people are confused on what to do. But where should I start from? Bro, start as you can start. A friend some days ago was asking me that he's going into marketing and he doesn't know how to start. I told him, don't go to university to learn marketing. That's not the right way to start. I told you something that the fastest way to learn something is to know someone that knows it and learn from that person. It's simple. You are doing marketing, find a person that is successful in that field and work with that person. You also have the same result as that person also. Even if you cannot achieve that same result at that same time, at least you could have the same result. Let's say a business person started his own journey in marketing and in the first year you made about 100 million naira, right? But for you that you're working with him, I will tell you the truth. That first time working with that person, you cannot get the same result as that person. No, you can probably make probably 10 million naira in a year. I must tell you the truth. If you are making 10 million naira right now in Nigeria, you're a big boy in a whole year. Even VCs, um, ministers, I would say their salary is almost like that. So you are you are the top class in Nigeria, I would say. So that's what I would just say. You need to just start and work with people. Work with people that have the same mindset with you and know where you're going. So for now, I would love to stop here and take questions. I know I've shared a lot, right? There's a lot of things I know I've not shared, but I will give room to people that have questions. Number one, I know there's a lady that just joined or that is here. Is she here? She's not here. But anyways, while we're waiting for her, I will say, please, you can mute yourself and let's ask questions. I'm always ready to answer you guys.
All right. Someone just, I think there's a question in the chat. Said, how did you start?
I would love you to unmute yourself, anyways. I want it to be a conversation, not just a. I hope you are hearing me, Olive, right? How did I start? I started with. I started right. Okay, let me just say how I started. I started with nothing. I started with half screen. I started with a desire to become better. That's the truth. Without a desire to start something, if you're not seeing yourself going far in life, if you are not having any desire to become a better person, there's every reason to stop. But once there's a desire that you want to become a better person, you want to move beyond this stage, you can actually start. And mind you, having a desire is one thing. Another thing is working with people that have that same desire with you that can aid you to where you are going. I started with a group of friends. Not everyone was doing software engineering with me, but everyone was learning. So that was enough motivation for me to keep moving. But I must tell you the truth, along the journey, I was tired. That's why I needed mentors that could hold me responsible or that was holding me responsible for everything I do. They were responsible for me indirectly. So, and I was privileged to have them in my life. And I took that period very, very serious because for a whole mentor to be interested in me, in making me a better person, then I have to be very, very serious. So I thank God, and that's how I started my journey, and I became very, very successful. Also, in my life after school, like I said, I will talk about how I started my company, but if you want me to share that, I will share it. I started also that way. I just started by starting with nothing in my head to becoming like going for conferences, meeting people that does the same thing, work with like-minded people, and just becoming a better person. Always writing, having a goal of where you want to be or where you want to get to. So there's something I told myself in my final years. Anything I'm doing that's not taking me to where I'm going, I stop it. At some point, I still love my friends going for parties, going for dinner, and going for this. My final years, I was so serious because of my life after school. I don't want it to be crooked. I want to start. Trust me, I've told you I spent 5 years in university. More than that 5 years in university, I also have 5 working years of experience. Let us say that as a person that have 5 years of experience, he cannot, let's say, buy a phone for himself. It's so bad after 5 years. Or buy some certain things, certain wants or needs that he has. So it was I needed to know that I need to take my life serious. And that's why I told myself anything I'm doing that's not taking me to where I'm going, I stop it. Right with me. So there are some conversations, there are some friendships I have to cut because it is not taking me to where I'm going. So indirectly, I was so focused. I worked in a community of like-minded people. I was able to grow with them. I was able to learn from them. And trust me, I was not the smartest. I only I'm only a person that have desire to become a better person every day. And that is just my life. So you were saying something, do you have to learn it on your own before you start fully with people? Hmm. So Olive, you need to start first on your own. You don't need to see this is something I always tell people. If you are always looking for confirmations, if you are always looking for what one person will say before I start, you are only wasting your time. Time waits for no man. As I am talking with you on this call, time is going. And with the line of fuel I'm in right now, time is a very necessary asset for me. I don't joke with my time. If I'm if I've spent 30 minutes, I'll be checking. No, I have to leave. But for the sake of today, I would give everyone time. Do you get? So how do I start? You start first with yourself before meeting people. Because people always want to work with you when they see that you're already a better person. Trust me, no one wants to be a liability to anyone. No one wants to work with the foolish. Or no one will want to work with the failures. I was a failure in my life, but along my journey, I was determined to become a better person. More than my determination, I took action. And then people of like-minded, I started working with them. And then I became a better person of and I was scaling to becoming, very well successful and all that. I'm grateful to God. And trust me, this is not the end. No, there's still more to come. There's more than school. There's more. There's more to life than being in university. University to me is a cage. What can you what can you use your 5 years to do? If it is to use 5 years to only read book, good and pass exam. Ah! The only thing is, school will not give you everything you need, but at the same time, you need to work with people, people that are visionary, people that know where they are going. You just need to work with them. So you start first by yourself. Don't be an irresponsible person. You have to start. You have to start. So I think I've answered the question. You know that learning courses in Coursera and Udemy can be a lot, and the feeling to start is there, but courses is too long to finish, and it's kind of discouraging. So should I do? I didn't get this. Should I do at this point? I didn't really get that question, but let me try to paraphrase that. That is, should I keep doing that, or should I continue taking that course? I must tell you something in my journey. As a software engineer previously, now I'm a quantitative analyst and a developer, and also a CEO to two of my companies. I'm co-founding one, and the other one, I'm the CEO, the chief executive officer. But I must tell you something that before I moved into this aspect of life, as the software engineer I used to be, I was I was not so sure of my life in university because I was building stuff for final year students, and it was only lecturers that was validating if what I've done was right, and which I did not take so serious. More than being a software engineer, there are a lot of things that the outside world, for instance, now I was planning to work in Microsoft. What I heard that you need to learn before you get to Microsoft, I was prepared by myself. Ask to learn. We have to learn a lot of things that was beyond what I know as a software engineer. I took a course for over 10 hours, 20 hours courses. And I was determined that if I need to become a better person tomorrow, I will start now. And if I must start now, I will do it to 2 hours. Like at least probably 4 hours every day or two hours every day because I have a deadline for myself. I set a goal for myself. I want to get a job. Like for I don't know you guys. I don't know if you came from a wealthy background. I did not come from a wealthy background. So to say, my parents were okay, but I know that I cannot depend on them every time. So I just have to find my path in life. So I know that if I'm to pay the price to sit down to watch 10, 20 hours of course, I must pay that price because no one will pay that price if I don't pay it. You get so I must not lie to you. I took that course. It was very, very boring. It was very, very tiring. but I made sure I finished it and learn everything in that course. Yeah. So there are certain things I did myself that were, to an human person, is unrealistic, but a man that set a goal for himself will not look at just the goal itself, will also look at the process. And trust me, you cannot achieve something worthwhile by just a short process. No, you have to actually pass through processing. And part of the process I passed through was taking a course for about 20 hours long, more than 20 hours long. In fact, I'm still taking courses that is more than 20 hours. I'll finish this course, I'll go to another course, I'll finish this course, I'll go to another course, because I know where I'm going. Like, I need to get to where I'm going. If I don't get there, I'm not happy. So why will I stop? With or without, the course is boring, and you must understand what this software engineering is. And I was doing a lot of stuff. Then I became very good. And I must tell you the truth, not everything in courses you see is what you do in the outside world. No. For instance, for some of you that are already doing interviews and all that, interviews are just interviews. When you start the actual work, those things they ask in the interview, you can't apply it. They are just questions to ask. What you will be facing in your real work is still the same thing you do, but probably you just need to have extra skill as an engineer, so called. You get. So that's that. So please, I will advise, please don't let that the length of the course discourage you. If you are passionate to become a better person, if you are passionate and determined to get to your goal, you will not be looking at the lengthy hours. No, you won't. You will be rather interested in how to become better, keep building, keep. See, the world is advancing. You can't tell yourself that, and because the course is 20 hours, it means I should stop. No, if it is a course that will take you and benefit you to become a better person, take it. I took courses. See, as a software engineer, I started learning stuff related to DevOps, cloud computing. I started learning stuff related to cybersecurity. Ha! I said, what I mean now is far greater. See, let's say in university I was cooking macaroni. Now it's more than macaroni. I'm doing advanced mathematics, advanced software engineering, all together um, is quantitative development. So it's more advanced right now as a new career. Not a new career, I believe it's just because of the stuff I'm building that led me to this path. You get, but more than that, don't just look at the hours, please. Don't let it discourage you. Look at your goal and always work to getting to that goal. Yeah. Okay, what should you do at this point? So I think I've answered you. What you should do at this point is work with people that have the same dream, be in a community where they can help you, because the truth is you cannot always know everything. There are stuff that in that course you cannot understand. You just need to know people that are doing that same thing with you and you learn from them. So it's as simple. Be in a community, work with great minds, have mentors that you can call and ask questions, because those mentors have passed that path and they understood it, so you can learn from them easily. So what you should do at this point is have mentors, continue that course, and be in a community. I've answered the question. So Samuel Akefe, your hands are raised. Can I hear you?
Uh, am I audible enough?
Yeah, very.
Okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I believe this session is definitely not one to be taken for granted. It is also not a coincidence because almost everything you said or your whole journey just coincides with like my current journey.
Yeah.
And I would like to say from I think you sent I'm fortunate to be on the inventors group leads group chat also, and you sent a book goals.
Mm.
And I can't lie, from last year ending till now, I started struggling financially. I don't know where that wave came from, but something in me just told me that I have to make it from. I'm currently working on cloud computing. Something just told me that I have to make it from this career path. And yes, I know school is there, school is helpful. But then, like you said, there's literally no benefit of going to school if you cannot apply what you have really learned in school.
Yeah.
So I immediately I got, I think this point is now a point of a very much of honesty, because when I picked up the cloud and DevOps class at the mentors, I literally thought I was good, or I was good enough. But as I started teaching people, I saw I didn't know anything. And I think from the onset, I felt cloud and DevOps were totally different things. So during the inventors class, I used to get very, not very confused, but I felt like I want to go into cloud computing, not really DevOps. And Satulani was a, or is a DevOps engineer. So I think he'll probably be able to explain much more to me on this. So yeah, I didn't want to go into DevOps. I feel like it's cloud computing I want to do, cloud computing I want to do. So I went for my IT, I started IT, and my IT was more of like a, what can I call it, IT support role. The only thing I got to do was the work was a crazy something. I went to work by 7:30 a.m. By 6 a.m. literally I've gone out, and by 6 p.m. I'm coming back. And going to work, the work start by 7:30 a.m. We finish by 6 p.m. But it's usually like
Okay.
6 and
Sorry.
okay,
Sorry about that. We don't have too much time. We have like
okay,
less than 10 minutes to go.
okay,
So
okay,
I would want you to like be straightforward with your question. There could be other people that
okay,
want to ask questions as well.
okay. So um you spoke about having a mentor. You spoke about having a mentor, and let me try and be direct. So I think what I need now is clarity. I need clarity on this part. Already, I started taking some cloud projects, and I saw that some DevOps projects were kind of hand in hand, like some cloud and DevOps projects. They are literally hand in hand, and I started working on them. But also, I'm realizing this exam period. I think my major fear was I'm going into exams, and I'm literally working on projects side by side. I literally see my mates reading, and I'm like, am I doing the wrong thing? Because I'm just sitting down on my laptop working. But I know
Hey.
that what I'm also learning in, because sometimes I find it easier to read because I've worked on some of these things. So sometimes I just feel like I'm wasting my time. So if I want to wrap up my questions, I think I just need clarity. I think I just need clarity. Yeah. And I also give myself a crazy goal, which I don't know how it happened. I told myself that I was telling my roommate that I set a goal that I will get a job and I will earn. I think inside our goals book you also sent. I set a goal that I will make 500K this month. I saw it inside our book that at least sometimes go outside your comfort. So I set that goal that I will make 500K this month. And in my mind, I'm thinking I have exams and I have, so I think my questions can just be summed up in this. I need clarity. Yeah.
Okay. So I would love to take everybody's questions all together. Does any other person have a question so that I can just answer all together? Okay, I've not heard from Teniola, Enoch, Ogunsoye, Fauzia, Kingsley, Tolani. Ask a question. Everybody should ask questions. After now, I don't think I might be able to show myself again, for stuff and all that. So this is a privilege to ask questions. I will say Kingsley, Tolani, Fazia, Teniola, Enoch. Okay, I think it's only Akefe Samuel that have a question. So let me just go straight to the point. So Akefe, what you need is, first of all, you need clarity and you have to be calm. This is something I told myself last year, which is the calmer I am, the clearer I think. You're not calm. You are not calm. Don't look at people's sources. Don't look at people's processes. Look at yours. Look at where you're going. One of the indices to know that you are growing is the level, first of all, the level of goals you've achieved this year. Today is what? Today is 11th of June.
11.
So we've only spent 11 days in this year. If I should tell you in 11 days what I've achieved, You will think I've done a year plan already because it's crazy. Yeah, I'm not whining. I'm not joking. You get. So it is not by me looking at probably another person because he has done this. No. Yeah, we thank God for he's reading his book, he's doing that. But at the same time, we all have where we are going in life. When it comes to your academics, it's first. You have to put it first. You have to what? Read and understand. After reading your book, what is next? You have read the book, now what's next? Go and find something to do and make your life relevant. You are saying you want to make 500K this month. Probably I did not share with you. When I was in 500 level, I saw a friend of my same age making billions, seven figures per month or so in dollars, not even in naira. Probably earning about like $300 million, $300,000, 400, $500,000, from his companies and businesses. I was asking myself, what am I using my life for? So if it is book you want to study, go and study your book. You get? If it is career you have to focus on, focus on your career. Have a goal of what you want to achieve in life. Work towards it. I must tell you the truth. Life is not Life does not reward, like I shared in my slide previously. Life does not reward the quality of effort. Life rewards the quality of knowledge. See, effort made is not equal to result attained. Life doesn't reward you based on the quality of your effort. It reward you based on the quality of your results. And the quality of your effort is proportional to what the quality of knowledge that you have. If you don't have the right knowledge in doing a particular skill, trust me, being in school, the book you are reading, ask yourself, does it qualify you to where you have to get to? Is it a criteria to getting to where you have to get to? I don't downplay academic excellence because I achieved it. In fact, my 500 level was the best result of my life. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I made the best results ever. Even taking all this risk I've made mention of. So I must tell you the truth that you need to know where you are going to. Have a goal where you want to get to. And don't compare it with a person that is reading his book. If the person is reading his book, good and fine. If you need to read your book, read your book. But at the same time, know where you're going. Because it is where you get to that matters. It is not by looking at other people that matters. No. Looking at them to me is somehow a distraction. You just need to be focused. And there is something I told a friend not too long ago as well. Focus simply means follow one course until success. Being successful, it is not by how much book you have read. For the course I studied, computer science, I know that being in school is not needed to even study computer science. You don't need to go to school. So I just needed to learn faster. My final years, that was when I started learning about my auditory skills. The skills I was learning, how to be in class. Once I'm inside class, the teacher is speaking to my ears, I'm understanding immediately. And I leave that class, I'm no more reading my book again. That was what I was trusting God for. Like, once I'm in class, sir, just teach me. Let me hear you. Are you not talking to me? It's not English he's speaking. I'm trusting God for that grace to be able to listen and assimilate immediately. Do you get? And there are times where I still go back to brush my book. That was just what I was working in or in my final years, and God saw me through. It wasn't easy, but it was possible. Do you get? So have a goal on where you want to get to. Make sure you read your book and just pursue your goals. So I think I've answered the question. All right. So if you have any other question, you can always ask. Tolani, do you have any question? Because I know we've been together and you have one or two for me to. I should ask you a question. We have questions, sir.
You can ask me a question.
Okay, okay.
But here's one thing, right? The meeting, um, It's an hour and 30 minutes, so
Okay.
we've reached actually elapsed in 2 minutes, right? And then I'm saying that others will not, they are not asking any question again. So I think we would round up now. I think we round up now. So, uh, firstly, right, I would want us to really appreciate my brother Kelvin for showing up. We had to plan this in a very short while, and then I really believe, because these are things that we pass through when we're on campus, right? Knowing how I could already see how what people will be passing through, and I'm like, let's come together and let's have a discussion to help others. That's a way of giving value, no matter how small it is, and that's what brought about this. And I believe that we have been able to give value, right, from experiences and the things that we know, right. We don't know everything, but we'll keep learning. All right. I'd just love to kind of summarize. You can go through this recording to be available on YouTube. Yes, it'll be available on YouTube. But if you were listening attentively from the beginning, you would see that the process, it was a journey of having a goal, number one, and then doing all that it takes, being determined to achieve the goal, right? It takes a lot of sacrifices. I was with him throughout, we were together in this journey, so I can relate to every single thing he was saying. It was even bringing back a lot of memories. And then I think one thing that I was reminded was that part of, don't get too comfortable with a particular place you've gotten to. For instance, with the academic system, or let's say you've been doing well to an extent, don't get too comfortable. Work with people that are doing better and aim to do better, because there's always more. There's always more. There's always more. Yeah, even right now, there's still more. There's still more, and then it's about collaborating. It's about looking at. It's about trying to get. Okay, I can see a question. In the area of finding people to work with desire or vision, and then a mentor you can actually call or ask. How do you go about that? What did you guys do about that? Okay. Oh, the timing, the timing, the timing, the timing. Uh, all right. This is the last question. This is the last question. This is the last question.
So you can answer
So
it.
this is the last question. So we'll just quickly wrap up this. I would still allow Kevin to say one or two things, but I'll also speak. So when it comes to finding people to work with, right? Uh, when you discuss with somebody, okay, let's say you are going on a path of, let's say you want to learn a career, DevOps, software engineering, or whatever it is. As you are learning, there will always be somebody else that is also doing that same thing. You just have to be very, very open to be observant to see whether in your part of your course mates or somebody in another department, and share what you are learning with other people. You just see that somebody else will just can respond to you and be like, I know I'm also doing this thing, and then everything just kicks from there. You have to share what you are doing, talk about it, like Kevin said. Yes, talk about it. Like even recently on LinkedIn, right? I just responded to somebody on it on he posted something, and I told him, can we jump on a call? And he agreed, and we had a call. The guy is from should be from I don't- he should be from India, but I don't think he's staying in India. And he's working as a DevOps engineer, in a company in, I think, UAE. Uh, that's UAE is Arab Emirates. Yeah. So talk about what you are doing, all right? And then how do you get mentors? Wow. Who are the people that you see that are doing what you think you should be doing in some few years' time, or people that are motivated when you are seeing their posts? It's simple as that. And if you have people like that, let's say on LinkedIn or on campus, try to reach out to them. Don't just say become my mentor. Nobody has time to waste and go. No, contribute to what they are doing. When they are on LinkedIn, you just see their posts. Add a thoughtful comment to what they are saying. Right? Wow, this was something I'm also learning. How did you go about it? Be curious. right? Come from a value perspective, because if you are trying to add value, nobody would. Everybody wants to associate somebody that is adding value. So if you are adding value, if you want to contribute something, they will always be open. Like for instance, now let's say I'm coming to tell Kevin now, Kevin, let's just go and do something. No, I called him that we should come to add value to you guys, right? It's something worthwhile doing. We have a lot of things to do, but we'll be adding value to people. So it's something that we should do, right? You see that? So those are the few ways, right? You can see people that have the same desire with you and you can work with. And secondly, that's one of the ways you can also have mentors, and you have to like be strategic and take advantage of opportunities, right? Um, okay, I think that's it. Does that help, Enoch? I think you're the one that asked the question. Did that help you?
Yes, it really does. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so we'll be rounding up now. So I was even asking Kelvin, if you could, share the slides, but probably not necessarily. You would have the video on YouTube, so you can go through them. But apart from that, there will be other session coming up. Maybe not now, right? I don't know the date for now, right? There are a few things that I need to put in place, but other sessions will be coming up. Some on investing, and the reason why that is it is because I started investing while on campus, and many of my friends here, Kingsley, even Kelvin, these things started investing. And then these are things that you need to start early. The earlier you start, the better. And I realized that a lot of our campus, even though you just have allowance, you've not started making money and working, you can still invest. And investment is a long-term thing. You look futuristic. So there is an event coming up on that, and another event again. There are a lot, but just these two words I will just quickly share so that you can anticipate for it. And that one is coming up on how to um, build startups on campus. If you have an idea, there are people that have done it. There are people that are still in the process of doing it, and they have one or two things to contribute and say, "I can help you in your journey." So I would love you guys to look forward to that. When you see, it may not be very soon, but eventually, when you see a post like that, you should obviously, if it's going to add value to you, why not register and look forward to the date. All right. Yeah, I think something else I realize is that many people do not join because probably they don't know that the link is sent to their mail. They don't know how to handle their mail. I just found out that. I don't know why. But please check your mail after registering for the event. You would have a link to join the event from your mail. All right. So can we appreciate Kelvin? Everybody, personally, thank you so much, Kelvin, for joining. I truly appreciate this, that we're able to show up at the time and give value, answer questions. It's a lot. It's a lot. An hour and 30 minutes is a lot. Thank you so, so much. I truly appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. And for everybody that have joined, thank you for showing up. And I'm sure that you were able to get something. I did for myself, right? I got a lot. I was reminded of a lot also, right? All right. So I think we'll call it a day now. Thank you very much. Kevin, you can stop the recording. Yeah. Good night.